Hi everybody, welcome to class number 2. As you can see, where we exactly sit, it's not the conventional classroom. So first of all, I wonder, we are in the Sixth Sense course. Did you felt that we are about to sit in a place that is not conventional? And also, we did that it will be a little different, something different, something that is not the same as this course that speaks about things that are not the same, that should be different. So last time we spoke about the potential existence of our sixth sense, and we kind of learned that we all have a potential of sixth sense that exists within us, and that we need to develop it. We need to go beyond and we need to develop it. And we kind of learn that developing the sixth sense would probably help us understand where we need to change. What should we change within us, and how should we be, how more sharing we should be, or more open we should be to more possibilities and seeing a bigger picture. We also learn that to be able to develop the sixth sense, we need to open up to more imagination, open up to more possibilities, to more maybe weird things, illogical things that are kind of beyond. And to be able to develop it, it has to be part of our change. You were asked during the period of time that we had to do something that is not so conventional, to speak with the light loudly. I wonder how that felt. What did you feel, and did anything interesting happen? Something you can share, something that made a difference for you? Please go ahead, share how it was for you. I mean, did you practice the speaking with the light loudly? How many people here had the chance to practice? Very nice, very nice. That's beautiful. Anything interesting happen? Yes, please.
I found myself more present, as opposed to when I was in scanning or doing a regular routine. When I did that, I was present. I was right there.
That's interesting. So you felt like you were present, that you were there. Beautiful. Very nice. Yes?
What was a while ago? Can I share that story about Lachlan?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, me?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
yeah, I spoke with innate objects.
With the
Innate objects.
innate object.
Things. You said to do that.
Right.
And, well, it felt good to me, but my husband was laughing at me every time. But it felt right.
Right. You felt right. Okay. Even though somebody else that look from the side didn't thought it was so.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Just say hello to that door. I said, well, yeah. Open for me,
The exercise was more to talk to the light, by the way.
Oh, okay.
To the light. I mean, we're gonna do that too, but it was to talk to the light loudly. Yes.
For me, it was, I would do it a lot in the car, speaking to the light, and it was very, very, very uncomfortable. But I felt like throughout the day, I felt like what she's saying, more in the present and also more receptive to possibilities, and I don't know, it definitely had an effect on just how the day went after practicing that exercise.
How would you say the day went? Like, in what way?
Just definitely, it opened itself up to more possibilities that I think I wouldn't have been able to tap into if it wasn't for asking the light to allow me to see more things.
Right. Beautiful. So for you, it kind of created more possibilities during the day. That's beautiful. That's very nice. All right. Anybody else? Yes.
When I speak to the light, I notice that the light kind of has a way of showing itself in my dreams.
That's nice. You saw more things appear in your dream. That's beautiful. I was about to ask, did anybody get an answer? You know, because we're talking to the light. Was he answering? Okay, very nice. Beautiful. Okay. You know, it's just a practice. I didn't expect much. I didn't expect, you know, big things to happen. So that's okay. You know, it will get probably more serious and more things would definitely take place. You know, the more we go. Yes.
Something that we're supposed to be doing every day.
Um,
Of our lives to develop.
you know, speaking about, you know, weird things with like flying objects here. Um, so your question was, I'm sorry.
If speaking to the light loud like this is an exercise that we should look into practicing every day.
You know, it was maybe something that was not conventional to do. You know, something that is weird, something that you normally don't do. You don't talk loud to an entity or to something that maybe you believe that exists, but you're not that sure, or that you're not normally have a loud conversation. I mean, people speak in their heart with the light, you know, or what people would like to call God, but not loud. So it was just to break through, you know, to break something within us. And I'm happy that you practice. And again, I didn't expect way results, you know, beyond what you already got. That's great. So to develop our sixth sense, we're going to definitely work on developing our five senses to go beyond. Definitely. And today, I would like to begin, you know, speaking about the vision, you know, our maybe the eyes. We'll talk about the eyes and how do we develop what we see to be able to see more. And we're going to then get to other things. But we're going to deal with the vision first. And that will go beyond our physical ability. Okay? How do we see beyond the physical ability of our eyes to see things? That's what will be today. And the subject today is messages and signs. This is the subject of us today. Well, part of the sixth sense is to see beyond, physically, to see beyond the realistic and the logical. So we all want to get signs. I mean, who doesn't want to get signs about things? If things are right, if things are wrong, if we should go, if we should not go, if we should do something, not do it. We all like to have signs. We all like to feel certain. We like to feel, you know, secure when we do things, or when we start things, or when we have something in front of us, or a decision to make. So how do we know, you know, about signs? How do we know if the sign that we get is a true one? How do we know what the sign really means? Sometimes we can see it the way we like to see it, you know, and we can make that sign say yes because I want it to be yes. So I can make it a yes. But how do you know that is true? It happens a lot that there is like amazing coincidence that appears right in front of us. Like, for example, I just came back from Israel. I went there, and I went with a person, and we were entering Jerusalem. We were just about to enter the old city of Jerusalem, and a bus just shows up, and that bus had a name on it that was this person's late brother synagogue name in Texas. How many chances are there that at that moment that you pass by, there will be a bus with the name of your late brother synagogue in Texas, in Jerusalem? How many chances? So you look at it and you understand that it's like a rare coincidence. But what are you supposed to understand? What is it? A message? Is it a sign? What is it? And I'm sure that things in that nature happen to you. Maybe not exactly that kind, but something else that is so, so weird or so rare. What are you supposed to understand? What is it? A sign, a message, a wake-up call. What exactly is it? Or you say a name to a friend quietly. You say it real quietly, and then someone next to you say something similar or even the same name or word out loud. What is that? Is it a coincidence? Is it more than that? Is it a sign for something? Am I supposed to do something about it? Am I supposed to not do something about it? How do we translate it? That goes beyond logic. Many people would rather take it and say, it's just a coincidence. I mean, don't take things so deep. Don't go beyond the logical. Many people would kind of ignore it. But we that develop our sixth sense wants to look beyond. So what do we make out of it? Apparently, all this rare or weird kind of coincidence, kind of like telling us that it is the light that is speaking back to us and saying, I am here, and I am presence, and I exist. So that's definitely one. What's beyond? Beyond is to understand that big portion and a major understanding of going beyond our physical ability to see things, and that's what we want to accomplish, because we know that what we can see is that much. But if we want to see more, and there is so much more to see, and here in this course we're about to learn how much more there is to see, but it all begins, first of all, with the belief that we must have that everything that happens to us is for the best. So we have to begin with that kind of consciousness, whatever happens. And I'm talking maybe even more specifically when things are not so soothing, when things are not so complimentary, when they are not so supporting and not so comfortable, that we will believe in our heart and will say in our mind, this is for the best. It all begins right there. And let me share with you how that will help us develop our sixth sense, at least in our way of seeing things. It can, first of all, begin with small things. Small things like you go somewhere and like I can take from my last trip. Okay, I get off. I get out of the hotel, and there is a whole group of taxi driver sitting right there on the side, and I need a taxi. So I approach them, and it's like I don't exist. They ignore me. I wave with my hand. They ignore me. So I say, you know what? Maybe it's too early for them to work. I don't know. It was 6:30 a.m. Maybe they just, woke up, but they don't want to work. I said, it's okay. I'll stop a taxi. When I raise my hand to stop a taxi and they see that I stop a taxi, then they get up. You want a taxi? But I was already getting in that taxi. When I drove with that taxi, and I said to myself, it is for the best. It is for the best. And I know that it is for the best. In a taxi I got into, the driver needed something that I had. And if I wouldn't get into that taxi, that piece of information that I had will never be able to deliver it. So the taxi driver was asking, where are you going? Where are you from? And I had something to share that made that taxi driver day to be totally different. And then I said to myself, that's why they didn't get up. I wasn't supposed to go with them. I was supposed to go with that taxi driver so I can share with that taxi driver that piece of information. That is to see beyond. Now, things can fall into place. And then you see a whole picture and you say to yourself, wow, I had a chance to be very upset. I could be very angry with those drivers. Or I could say, it is for the best. And then I can see the big picture. Then I can see that there was something beyond that I needed to see. But it all begins with saying it is for the best. There is a true story that I read, amazing story, about this person that was driving for many, many hours and felt a great need to go to the bathroom. And all the gas stations on the way were closed, and that need was so strong he had to get off the highway and drive on that road, looking for something open. It was late night time. Was driving and he started driving fast to find a place, and the sheriff stopped that individual. And when he explained to the sheriff his need and the reason he was driving fast, the sheriff ordered him to continue, telling him that down the road there will be a place that will be open. So he was driving fast and he saw this funeral home that was open. And of course he rushed in and asked him, where's the bathroom? They said, if you want to use the bathroom, first you have to sign. He says, I just need to go to the bathroom. You have to sign. Okay. He signed. Can I go to the bathroom? They say, no, we need the address too. He says, but I just need the bathroom. No, you have to put the address too. Okay, he put the address and his telephone number and all the information, and he ran to the bathroom. When he came out, he saw that there was a body there, so he went and he gave respect to that individual. And then he left. 3 weeks later, he gets a phone call. This lawyer is ordering him to come to his office the next day at noon. He says, but why? Did I do something wrong? Did I hurt anybody? He says, I cannot explain it to you. You have to be there in time. He gets there in time. The sheriff is there. The funeral home manager is there. And they're telling him, and that's why it's a true story, they're telling him that the man that was there, the dead person, was the richest person in town. He owned everything in that town, but also no one liked him. In his will, he wrote that the person that's going to come to give him respect will inherit everything he had. He was the only one that night that came to visit. Now, how many chances there are that things like this would happen? Now, you might think, while it's on the way, leave me alone. I mean, what do you want from me? We can have so many other thoughts in our mind than it is all for the best. So many thoughts. Otherwise, being upset. How could this happen? How could that happen? How could I be treated this way or that way? Or we could have that thought that can open up so many gates to be able to see a bigger picture. So this is kind of like a choice that we can make. So there are many kinds of signs, many kinds of messages, because this is what we learned today: messages, signs, and to be able to see them now, we kind of like understand that we need to think in a certain way. Signs and messages come in many ways. They come in some different kind of incidents. They come by different kind of people. They come even by animals. Animals can also be some form of messages. I'd like to share with you today all the different kind of possibilities. Good ones, bad ones. How do we know to read what's happening? So now we got the right consciousness. But what about like dreams? I mean, dreams could also carry messages. We dismiss many of those incidents, people, situations as coincidence, unexplained situations, illogical situations. Let me share with you some of the messages and the signs that means no. Okay? That means no. Or that you need to be careful. Well, the first thing is when you want something. You want to buy something, you want to get something, you want to get somewhere, and it doesn't work. Something always happens. It never works. Or that you want to buy something and they never have your size. Whenever you're there, they never have your size. Or if they got your size, they don't have the color you like. If they got the color you like, something is missing. Everything kind of like comes out wrong whenever you want to get it. That's a no. That's a definitely no. Okay? So if you need to compromise, maybe you don't need it at all. Or that whenever you want that thing, you don't have the money for it. At that moment, like you had that money yesterday, you said, I'll go tomorrow, it's probably going to be there, but when you get there, you don't have enough money. So whenever things don't happen, either because you don't have the time, you don't have the time to get there, you don't have the time to do it, it is a no. It is clearly a no. Or when you go out with somebody and you always fight. I mean, this is serious, because this is like, relationship. When it's something physical, with a physical nature that you want to buy, you want to get, you want to be, it's not like relationship. Relationship is way more serious. And when you have that relationship and you always fight about things, there's always a fight, and you never get along with that person, and you always get separated. You go apart and you go back, and you go apart and you go back, and it never feels like totally, absolutely right. It's a no. It's a clear no. Or you buy a car, and right at the beginning, you need to fix it. And after you fix it, you need to fix it again. And something breaks a few times. Maybe you want to give it back. Maybe it's not the right thing for you. It is a no. It is a no. If at that time that you kind of like planning on getting it, or buying it, or finding it, or doing something, there are many dreams, not good dreams, dreams that bothers you, that maybe you don't know the meaning of what you saw in the dream, but you definitely know that your inner feeling is not a good one. It's not a happy one. It's a no. It's a no. It's a clear sign that it's a no. If someone cheating on you, if it's personal relationship, if it's partner at work, and you have like all kind of dreams that are not so soothing and not so complimentary, not so peaceful, that give you great feeling like stink come out of the ground, or people break into your house, and like things that don't mean good. We need to look into our life and say, what's the message? There is a no about something. There's a no about something. What is it that I am supposed to say no to, or that I'm supposed to realize that something is wrong with it? Dreams are great messages. And you know what? You don't need to know the interpretation of each one of them to the details. It's enough that those dreams are not nice dreams. It means something. And it means something about our life. So we need to look around and open our eyes and say, something is going on. There's something happening here that I need to pay attention to. Does that make sense? Yes.
What about like worry dreams? Like you're worried about something and you have nightmares about it. Is that the same thing?
I would say that maybe nightmares is not exactly it, but maybe they also, if they keep repeating, they also mean something. They also mean anything that is not soothing, that is not helping, kind of, that it is, but it doesn't feel good. It's supposed to awaken us to look into something and say, I'm getting an answer here, or I'm getting a message here about something that is wrong. So what is it? What is it that I should pay attention to and see? That's another thing. Or that there's many things that happen in a short time, like over a few days, or even in one day, a lot of them, and they are unpleasant things. Like people treat you in a bad way, or there is a small car accident, and in addition, you get tickets, and you say, what's happening? I mean, there's so many things that happen in such a short time that are not with a good nature. You know, you get tickets, or someone steal from you. You ask yourself, what's going on? I mean, too many things in a very short period of time. I need to open my eyes. Something is telling me that something is wrong. Now, it doesn't necessarily indicate about the specific things, but I assure you that if you open yourself to it and not dismiss it saying coincidence, or maybe I don't have the right consciousness. Maybe it's only that. Maybe you don't have the right consciousness. Maybe your consciousness is not in a good place. But maybe it's more than that. If you're going to be alert and you're going to say, it is for the best, I am supposed to see something, you will be able to see it. So it begins here with that consciousness and paying attention to these things. Or things breaks. Too many things burn in the same time. What's going on? What's happening? Am I missing something? Apparently I am missing something. What am I missing? Open ourselves for more. Does that make sense? Now, this could be, warning sign. It could be that I don't have the right consciousness, or I'm thinking bad thoughts, or that actually something bad is happening, or I just need to maybe change. Maybe I need to watch out for something and change. Now, if money get stolen, Money should not be stolen. But if money gets stolen, in any possible way, money gets stolen, or money gets lost, it is also an indication. It is also a sign or a message, either that we waste too much, and because we waste, or because we don't appreciate our money or what we have, that's why it happens. So we need to be more alert to that. Or that we need to share more, and maybe we're not sharing enough. But money should not get lost or get stolen. And if that happens, it's definitely a sign of something that is not right, that we need to look into it. If you wait too long, wait for things, wait too long in lines, being delayed too much, your car get locked. You get locked outside your house. The key break inside. Apparently, it is a sign. And it's not a good sign. It's a sign that maybe you're wasting your own time, or maybe you're wasting other people's time. And as a result of it, you get delayed. Your time get even be more wasted. So that's another sign. If you are about to do something dangerous, or about to take a risk of some kind, and then someone coincidentally tells you about an incident that happened in another place, in another time, of something bad that happened, that's a clear sign of a no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go there. Don't invest. It's something that is insecure. The answer is no. Does that make sense? If you are on the way to something, if you're on your way to somebody, to meet somebody, to do something, or you're asking a question in your mind, a question about your life, about doing, not doing, and then something extreme happens. Suddenly rain starts to come down. Suddenly the light turns off. Suddenly, at that moment, an accident happens right there in front of you. Serious accident. Or anything else that is seriously negative. The answer is no. The answer is no. And you want to look into it, and you want to take it in consideration that the answer is no. Does that make sense? Okay. Anybody have a story about signs that appear in your life, that things that happen? Kayla? Yes?
So, I don't know, most of you probably know there was a trip to Morocco at the center, and I had just quit my very comfy corporate job and was doing something new, and money wasn't secure anyways. My teacher all of a sudden, I get this message from her, can you come to the center and talk? Which she never does. I'm like, yes. Anyways, long story short, she tells me about the trip. She's like, I don't know why, it kept coming in my head, I had to tell you. She's like, go, don't go, I don't care, but I just had to tell you. And so I'm like, all right. I mean, who has time to think about this? I just started a new job like a week or so before. And so I think I was in Moshe's class at the time, and he probably said something about signs, so I said, okay, let's test this out. So okay, sign, God, lights. If I'm supposed to go to Morocco, give me a sign. So the next day I go to work, and I've been working in this, I'm a stylist, and I've been working in this one room, and there's been one magazine for 3 weeks, and I have read every single article in this magazine, from cover to cover, this Vogue magazine. And so I get there at 5 a.m. the next morning, I open up the Vogue, and it's just this 2-page thing, Madness in Morocco. I laugh out loud immediately. I'm like, okay, well, that's a sign. And then immediately my eye goes down, and there's this quote from Dustin Hoffman, who's like, it was about filming a movie in Morocco. He was like, going to Morocco was the biggest mistake I ever made. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, Morocco, the biggest mistake, maybe I shouldn't go. So I laugh out loud again. And I say, okay, God, light, whoever, I don't get it. I need another sign. So that day we were going to Big Bear to shoot up there, and this girl that's in the van with me, out of nowhere, she turns around, she's like, did I ever tell you about the time me and David went to Morocco? And I was like, no, you didn't. We went like 6 years ago, and she never even really told the story. It was just this random mention of Morocco. I'm like, okay. And then the kicker was, at the end of the day, someone comes in to talk to the hairstylist, and they're like, do you have any of that Moroccan hair oil? And so I say, okay, so maybe I should look into it. And so I'm, again, just quit the job. Morocco's in 10 days or something. I'm like, this flight's going to be crazy expensive. Maybe if I have the miles. So then I get something that's like, you have 5 days left to use your American Express card. So I'm like, okay, and I go on. There's no airlines but like Air France. And I'm like, well, I'm sure that's not the flight that goes. Not only was it was the only flight. It was the flight that everyone from the LA Center was on from LA to there. So I'm like, okay, if I have enough miles. I had 68,000 miles. It's 60,000 miles to go to Morocco. And then they're like, oh, I'm sorry, man, because you're closing it out, you can't actually pay the fee, so we're going to have to charge you 7,000 additional points. So it ended up being like 67,000 of my 68,000 points that I had to use by like 3 days later. So I just was kind of like, okay, I guess I'm going to Morocco. And then, yeah, I arrived at the airport kind of like, I have no idea why I'm here. It's a social experiment I'm doing with myself. We'll see how it goes. And a lot of great things have happened. So.
Thank you. This story is great because there's so much in that story that you got a sign, but then that sign is no good. You know, then there's something bad in that sign. So what do you do now? I mean, you go for it, you don't go for it. Sometimes you get a sign, but it's not a good sign. And you're not sure now, okay? You're not sure. And now you're even more confused than you've been even before. So what do you do? What do you do? If you're not clear about it, wait. Don't do anything. Don't jump into conclusion, but make space. If you create space for the light to come in and show you, the light will give you more signs. And will give you better signs later on. But you need to create a space for it. You need to create the vessel for that light to become revealed. So you ask, I want more. I need more sign. I cannot make up my mind. And you have to wait, and the signs will come. Okay? If you're not sure, that's okay. You don't have to get to conclusion by one sign. You can wait and get more and more until you're going to be absolutely sure, when it will be beyond any of your doubts. Sometimes it will take more than a day, more than a week, but you will get all that you need to go for it. As long as you're willing to open yourself to the fact that the light does show us what to do, that the messages are out there, the moment you open yourself for it, it will come to you and it will show you. And that will help you definitely open up and develop your sixth sense. Does that make sense? Anybody have another interesting story? Yes?
I have a very straightforward one.
Okay.
That I wouldn't listen to. I had a dream, and before I
Could you
woke
speak up?
Yes. I had a dream, and in this dream, I saw the numbers 7734, and I thought, well, what is that about? And I said, just write it down. You don't know, just write it down. So I did, and I was seeing my...
Is that a sign?
We had these flying things here before, and now this. Okay. That's what happened when you go out. When you go out of the class, other things happens, and that's why I wanted us to be outside today, because I wanted more things to happen that normally can happen when you are in a regular environment, the conventional environment. Please go ahead.
And so as I was putting makeup on in the morning, the paper turned around and it spelled hell, H-E-L-L. And I was preparing to reunite with somebody that I had previously broken up with. It was something that wasn't working out. And I wasn't sure about the relationship and going to see if maybe it could happen again. And the paper turned around.
So those numbers,
7734 upside down spells hell.
oh, interesting. Wow. That's very interesting. Okay, the story was that she dreamed about a clear number, 7734, and she was at that time planning on getting back to a relationship, and she put those numbers down, and then the paper coincidentally turned, and when you look at it upside down, it spelled hell. So that's a message. That's a message. That's a message. Okay, I think the point is clear. I mean, I'm sure that we're going to need to put more of our consciousness in it, and maybe pay more attention to things and not dismiss them as just a coincidence and illogical, and maybe a coincidence, but to look into things. All right? Let me speak about signs that it is yes. That is a yes. Okay? Let's say you have a question about strong relationships, maybe even marriage. This is serious. I mean, you shouldn't be questioning it in the first place, but let's say you do. Let's say you got there. And then somebody stop you and ask if you know how to get to this famous wedding hall. That's a sign, yes. It is definitely a sign of yes. I have a story that I wanted to share with you. And looking always into things that are beyond what actually happens. That happens to me in Israel. There's one Kabbalist that his grave site is in the middle of a forest, in like a valley. To get to that place, you really need to drive a lot in a very narrow road to get there, and it's in the end of the valley, and it's like in the middle of a forest. And we were a group of like four people that were going to visit that place, and that specific Kabbalist was known to provide the blessing, if you can call it that way, or the energy of finding your right soulmate and getting married. And it was late night that we went, very late night, and the road was empty, there was no one there, and we drive, and then a car passed us, going the other direction, and then stop and start to back up. So I stopped the car, and the car is backing up, and there's a young girl there. And the girl is saying, "Do you have any idea how to get out of here?" I said, what do you mean to get out of here? She says, "I'm like 3 hours driving here, trying to get my way to the big city." I said, "Where are you coming from?" First of all, I wanted to be sure she's real. I mean, she's a real person. So I said, "Where are you coming from?" I mean, she looked real. But you never know. I mean, learning the sixth sense, you never know. You never know. You always make sure that what you see is really what's there. And I asked, so she said, I'm coming from that city. And I said to myself, that city is like all the way out already. I said, yeah, you went. She said, yes, I came from there. And apparently, going out of that city, there was an intersection. Instead of taking a left or a right, she went straight. And that straight took her into that forest that goes into that valley. So I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking about the time that this is happening, and that she's stuck for 3 hours on that one road, going back and forth, back and forth. And I said to her, I'm sorry that I'm asking you this weird question. Forgive me. Are you married? She says, no. I said, do you know who is buried here? She says, no. I said, it's this Kabbalist. You heard about him? She says, yeah, I heard about this. I said, you know, he's all about finding soulmates and getting married. I have a feeling that he wants you to come to visit him. And he doesn't let you go. Would you maybe join us and come? She says, but I'm not dressed properly. I said, don't worry, there's nobody there. She came with us. We made the connection. She left. I didn't see her coming back. So I believe that she made her way. But this is some of those things that you understand that is happening beyond. And I kind of knew that he was calling her and didn't let her go, just to bless her with finding the right person for her. So maybe other people would get upset and say, what's going on? Why this is happening to me? You know, and being angry that they can't find a way. Everything is for the best. Makes all the difference. That makes all the difference to actually what's going to unfold in our life. But at those moments, it's not going to be easy to ask or to say or to think about that. Does that make sense? Sixth sense. Or maybe you wonder, maybe you are not so sure if you should invite an individual to come to the party, to go with you to the movie, to join you in something, and the person is calling coincidentally right there and then and say, what are you doing tonight? Are you planning something? That's a yes. That's definitely a yes. Anything else that happens in a positive manner that strengthens the yes is also validation. It's also a yes. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Any questions? Yes.
So, what about, because I'm having a hard time with the concept of like, you know, everything happens to us for a reason, and we should be grateful for everything, and that we need all the experiences that we're having. So what about when you're, you know, getting signs that are negative, but you're not paying attention to them, and you're going into something anyway? So did we actually need to have that experience that you're going into, that negative signs are telling you not to go into?
We can choose to ignore the sign. That's a choice we all can make, you know, either by ignoring them and not paying attention to them and dismiss them as non-important or illogical or nothing to look at, or that we choose to not use them by getting even upset and thinking that somebody is bothering me or ignoring me or whatever the reason is. Okay? It's a choice we make. And then we're going to need to experience something. We're going to learn from that experience too. We're going to learn from that. We're going to gain from it also something. But it's painful, and we don't need to. We can do it ahead of time. If we have a sixth sense, we can skip the painful moments. And that's the purpose of of developing the sixth sense. Yes.
I have actually a story of a negative sign that actually changed to a positive.
Okay.
It was many years ago. I was going to go to Israel, to migrate to Israel. And on the way to the airport, in a place where there's it's right on the top of a big viaduct, the car broke down.
A what?
The car that was driving
The car broke down.
completely dead, right on the top. And it was in a bit of a dangerous situation because it was on a highway, so cars were racing by. So I look in front of me, the situation looks bleak. I have to go to the airport, I have to get there in time. Looks like I wasn't going to make it or anything like that. And it was my trip to check out Israel, to make all the plans and so forth. So I look in front, I say, okay, better to do some about, ask the question, life, if you don't want me to go to Israel, I won't go. So I thought that was a sign. So I let it go. So then the next thing I did, I put the signs, the stop signs, stop, made it safe. And then as soon as I did that, then I just turned around, and then a little car stopped by in the middle of the highway. Everybody started horning. It was a girl in a mini minor, the old little car. And she said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to the airport," which was like 10 miles away. She said, "Come on in, I'll take you there." I said, "No, I've got 2 suitcases, I've got a few people and everything like that." She said, "No, I'll take you all. Okay, get in." And I got there in time.
Beautiful, beautiful. So kind of like basically, I think we got the picture, of how should we think, and that we should definitely pay attention to different sign. I want to go into some more of clear sign. I want to talk about the idea that animals also give us signs. Different kind of animals give us clear signs. Okay, and I will talk about positive signs, and I'm going to talk about negative signs. All right. Deari writes about some of those, and Deari write that if you go out of your house, you're about to leave the house, you are leaving the house, and your dog or a dog bow to you. You know how sometimes a dog can stretch, with kind of like bowing to you, stretches his front, legs and kind of like bow to you? They share with us that that's a very good sign that your day is going to be an excellent day, that you're going to be successful, and there are going to be very good things happening to you. So that's a clear sign. In another note, if the same dog bow to you but the opposite, you maybe want to go back home and stay there for the day. Or at least watch it. At least be very careful. Okay? Because that is not a good sign. There are some animals that represent negativity. There are animals that represent positivity. I'd like to share that with you. All right? The one that share negativity, the one that represent negativity, are a black crow. Sometimes you might see that in a neighborhood there is one house that all the black crows always rest on that house. It's not on any other house, but that one. And they scream from that place. A black crow is a messenger of bad news, of many kinds. Of many kinds. So you know that something in that house is not well. Something there is wrong. It could be here in the Kabbalah Center. I have to share with you that, I live like right near the Kabbalah Center here in LA. And, I live at the end of this apartment building that the Kabbalah Center had, the new one. And right across the street, we are now renovating another one. And it's a building that belonged to the Kabbalah Center. But there's always Black Crow sitting on the roof and shouting. And I look at it and I say, it's part of the Kabbalah Center. What's wrong? What's wrong? For a year I'm asking what is wrong. We got a construction guy from the center that is fixing the building. While he was fixing it, they did like a whole renovation of it. They found out that as a result of the earthquakes, all the footing that the building is sitting on moved. And the building was about to collapse any minute. If we didn't make those renovations, we will never know that. He needed to build a new footing because the whole building moved like 2 feet from the base, from the foundation that hold that building straight. I said, I got it. Now I know. That's a black crow. A spider is not a good sign either. A spider means literally in Hebrew, delay. Akavish is ikuv yesh. It means a delay. So it might mean that there is some form of a delay, something is going to be delayed, or that we should maybe delay something, but that's a spider. Mouse being in a house is not a good sign. It's also not a pleasant sign. But beyond being not pleasant, it's also not a good sign. And it could mean that something that belonged to us is being taken away from us. It could mean that because a mouse come and steal food. So something gets stolen. Something. It doesn't have to be money. Could be happiness. Could be prosper. Could be something get lost. Something is missing. That's a sign. Or we had once a bird. We come into the house. My kids for sure remember that. We come into the house is closed. And in our bedroom, we find a bird. A sparrow. Sparrows. Some kind. And sparrows usually are good messengers. Very good messengers. But this one was a black bird and was bleeding. Was bleeding. We don't know how. We don't know what happened. And there was blood all over the place. Not too much blood, but there was blood. And apparently she lost a leg somehow. We don't even know how and what happened. So we took care of the bird. That week or even that night, we kind of we didn't even know what the message is. But that week, we went to sleep. And we wake up in the morning and there is a smell of gas. In that place where we live, the gas tank was in the house. Somehow it broke and all the gas went into the whole apartment. If we would turn the light on or a match, that will be the end of it. In a miraculous way, nothing bad happened. We opened the window, we just let it out, and we kind of realized that it was a bad sign. So something in that nature that is negative, that is frightening, means not so good. So you need to look around, you need to open your eyes, you need to watch for it, that something is happening. There are very positive animals. A pigeon, sparrows are good sign. They give good messages. They bring good news. A lion. Maybe it's not so pleasant to meet a lion. But seeing it in some way. Seeing it in some way. I forgot also to mention before, and maybe it's time now, You drive your car, and when you pay attention to the miles, you see suddenly a clear number. 99999, 888, everything is 8. Something that is not conventional. Something is happening. It could be a good thing. Could be a good thing. You know, talking about numbers, definitely numbers have significance. The number 13, somehow, and I have no idea why, it's a symbol for many people as a bad sign. But 13. But not Kabbalistically. Kabbalistically, 13 is a great number. It's a great number because it's the numerical value of the word love in Hebrew and the word one and unity. So it's a great sign. To live on the 13th floor, it's a great floor to live in. The Friday the 13th is a great Friday. Okay? 666 is a great number Kabbalistically because 6 is Yesod. Because 6 represents Joseph, the righteous. It represents sustenance. So 3 times 6, it's triple the blessing. But maybe because in the world, the opponent need to also interfere with the good signs, somehow good things were interpreted in a bad way. So we should look at those numbers in a good way. Okay? There's no really bad numbers. There's no really bad numbers. No such a thing. Okay? You know, backyard lizard, what do you call it? Or gecko? Gecko? Okay? Not Geico. Also, very good sign. Very good sign of good news, of good things. A scorpion. Very good sign if you kill it. I'm not, and here I'm serious. I'm serious about it. The Rav, our teacher, always share a story that he had a lot of trouble in his business and his life before he became Kabbalist. When he was a businessman, before he met his teacher. And he had tremendous amount of trouble, and he went with his teacher to this trip to Kabbalists, you know, grave sites. And on the way, his teacher saw a scorpion. He says to him, kill it, kill it. And after he killed it, because normally Kabbalists will never kill any animal. Will never touch an ant. Will never touch a fly. But will kill a scorpion. And that's weird because we kind of like should let animal live, but scorpion is different. Kabbalistically, scorpion is different. Scorpion act in extreme ways. You know, scorpion killed himself. It's the only animal that commits suicide when there's no way out. Kill itself. After he killed the scorpion, his teacher told him, now all your trouble will be gone. Would be gone. So that's why I said, good sign if you kill it. A hawk carry very good news. Swallows, martin carries very good news. Swallows, the bird, swallows. All right, that's it. Eagle, good news. Snake, snake, not such good news. I mean, as seeing it, but in a dream means prosperity. And if the snake bite you in a dream, the amount of blessing will be doubled. And especially it's about money. So what you're going to get will be doubled. So it's a very good thing in a dream.